Welcome back to Stamps Old World UK, where we uncover the hidden value and fascinating history behind the world's most iconic stamps. In today's video, we're diving deep into the market value of one of the most powerful symbols on a modern American postage stamp, the $1 Statue of Freedom stamp. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your stamp collecting journey, stay with us as we reveal the current value of this striking piece and what makes it a desirable addition to any philatelic collection in today's market. Now, let's take a close look at this particular stamp. The image showcases a powerful green engraving of the Statue of Freedom, a neoclassical female figure adorned with a majestic feathered helmet and a laurel wreath by her side. This image is not just decorative, it's deeply symbolic. The Statue of Freedom has been an enduring emblem of liberty in the United States since she was first placed atop the U.S. Capitol dome in the 1860s. This stamp captures that very essence, combining historical grandeur with the prestige of high-denomination postage. Issued as part of the high-value definitives, this $1 USA stamp is widely recognized by collectors for its bold green ink, sharp design, and vertical format. The inscription USA $1 is printed clearly on the right-hand side in a formal serif font, adding to its regal presentation. While the stamp might appear modern, it has already earned a solid place in the world of stamp collecting due to its design quality and symbolic weight. It's one of those stamps that turns heads, not just for its face value, but for the stories it holds within its artwork. As of 2024 and heading into 2025, the stamp market continues to show strong interest in high-denomination and well-preserved American stamps like this one. The $1 Statue of Freedom stamp, depending on its condition, can range in value from $2 as high as $12 in the collector's market, if it's mint and never hinged. However, what's truly fascinating is that plate blocks, full sheets, or error variations of this stamp, such as color shifts or misprints, can command much higher prices, sometimes reaching up to $25 or even $50 depending on rarity and demand. The market for patriotic and symbolically significant U.S. stamps has proven resilient, especially among international collectors who view American stamps as cultural artifacts as much as they do postal history. It's also important to consider the condition and grade of the stamp when estimating its market value. A used copy with a light cancel might only fetch around $1.50. Whereas a flawless mint example with fresh gum and sharp centering could attract bids well above $10. Collectors prize stamps that are well-centered, clean, and come with original gum. If your stamp is part of a complete series or a commemorative set, that can further boost its value significantly. Presentation, provenance, and historical context always play an important role in stamp valuation, and the $1 Statue of Freedom stamp is no exception. Now, let's talk about why this stamp remains relevant and highly collectible today. The Statue of Freedom stamp appeals not only to collectors of American stamps, but also to those with an eye for artistic engravings, neoclassical designs, and symbols of democracy. As more people turn to tangible hobbies like philately in our digital age, stamps like these offer a window into national identity, historical design trends, and the evolution of postal services. They're compact treasures, portable time capsules that carry with them the legacy of an entire nation. So, if you happen to own this stamp, now is a great time to reassess its place in your collection. Keep it in protective sleeves or archival quality stockbooks to preserve its condition. If you're interested in selling, consider listing it on reputable philatelic auction sites or reaching out to certified stamp dealers for a professional appraisal. On the other hand, if you're looking to buy this stamp for your own collection, make sure you verify authenticity and always ask about the condition grade before purchasing. Remember, the difference between a $2 stamp and a $20 stamp could simply be the sharpness of its corners or the brightness of its color. So, Whether you're an enthusiast with decades of collecting experience or someone who just found this stamp tucked away in an old album, the $1 USA Statue of Freedom stamp is definitely a piece worth recognizing. Its current market value might not be astronomical, but its historical and artistic significance gives it a timeless appeal. And who knows, over time, as postal rates change and high-denomination stamps become even rarer, the value of this stamp could climb further. Stamp collecting isn't just about profit. It's about preserving moments of history, one small piece of paper at a time.
Next up, the famous 1934 $1 Migratory Bird Hunting Stamp, often referred to by collectors and historians as the first official duck stamp. If you've never heard the story behind this stamp, or if you're curious about how much it's worth in today's market, you're in for a fascinating journey. Let's uncover everything about this iconic piece, from its design to its market value, and why it remains one of the most important stamps in both philately and American conservation history. First, let's talk about what makes this stamp so unique. Issued by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the stamp features a beautiful blue-toned image of two ducks, mallards, in flight, taking off from a marsh. The design was created by artist and conservationist Ding Darling, who is not only an artist, but also the head of the U.S. Biological Survey at the time. His vision for this stamp was part of a greater effort to protect wetlands and ensure that waterfowl populations could thrive in the face of shrinking habitats and overhunting. The stamp bears the words Migratory Bird Hunting Stamp along the bottom, with U.S. Department of Agriculture along the top, and the warning Void after June 30, 1935, printed clearly in the upper left portion of the design. Flanked by ornate numeral 1s in circles on both sides, this striking blue stamp had a very specific purpose. It was not used for postage, but rather it was required by federal law to be purchased by waterfowl hunters in order to legally hunt ducks in the United States. The importance of this stamp cannot be overstated. It marked the beginning of the federal duck stamp program, which to this day continues to fund wetland conservation across America. Every hunter had to buy the stamp annually, and the proceeds, still to this day, go directly into preserving national wildlife refuges and habitats. Over the years, billions of dollars have been raised through this initiative, and it all started with this single $1 blue stamp in 1934. Because it was meant to be used by hunters, many of these stamps were either glued into license books or discarded, making clean, mint-condition examples quite rare. And that rarity is part of what gives this stamp its significant value today. So how much is this beautiful stamp worth in the current collector's market? As of 2024 and into 2025, a used copy of the 1934 Migratory Bird Hunting Stamp typically sells for between $20 and $50 depending on how it was preserved. If the stamp was carefully removed from a license without damage, or if it has a light, attractive cancellation, it may command more. However, the real value lies in mint, unused copies. A genuine, original gum, never-hinged, mint-condition duck stamp from 1934 can sell for anywhere from $150 to over $300, especially if it's perfectly centered and free from defects. Signed stamps, many were signed by hunters as part of the licensing process, are usually valued less unless the signature is from a notable individual or has historical relevance. Full sheets or rare plate number blocks can fetch even higher prices, especially at auction or from specialized wildlife philately dealers. Beyond its monetary value, this stamp is one of the few examples of a government-issued item that blends functionality, artistry, and conservation. It's beloved not only by stamp collectors, but also by wildlife artists, hunters, and historians. In fact, the federal duck stamp program later evolved to include annual competitions where artists submit paintings and the winning design becomes the next year's stamp, a tradition that has turned the duck stamp into a yearly celebration of art and wildlife preservation. The 1934 issue started it all, making it a cornerstone in many advanced stamp collections. It's not just about price, it's about legacy, and this stamp has plenty of that to offer. As we conclude this video, one thing is clear. The $1 1934 Migratory Bird Hunting Stamp is not only valuable in terms of money, but invaluable in its contribution to conservation history. It helped save millions of acres of wetlands, influenced generations of nature lovers, and launched one of the most successful conservation funding programs in history. Whether you're a collector, a conservationist, or simply someone who appreciates fine design and historical depth, this stamp deserves a place of honor in your collection. It's a symbol of how a small act, buying a stamp, can lead to lasting, meaningful impact. Thank you for watching today's episode of Stamps Old World UK. If you enjoyed this deep look into the world of the first US duck stamp, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your own duck stamp stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear if you've come across one in your collection or inherited it from a family member. Our channel is dedicated to bringing you weekly stories, valuations, and deep history from the world of stamp collecting. Until next time, keep discovering the past, one stamp at a time. This is Stamps Old World UK, wishing you happy collecting.
Next up, the $1 United States Postage Due stamp. You may be surprised to learn that these vibrant red stamps once played a very practical role in the U.S. postal system, and today they are sought-after collectibles that carry more than just a price tag. They carry a legacy. So sit back, relax, and join us on this journey through time, paper, and ink as we explore the world of the $1 Postage Due stamp and its place in the modern-day stamp market. Let's begin with the basics. The stamp you see here is a bold, beautifully designed red stamp printed with the words United States Postage Due in an arched banner, flanked by ornate scrollwork and centered around a large dollar sign and the word 1. At the bottom of the stamp are two large numeral 1s and the word dollar spelled out in capital letters. What makes this design so eye-catching is not just its bold red color, but its symmetry, balance, and classical typography. This particular stamp was issued as part of the later series of U.S. Postage Due stamps, which were used not for standard postage, but as a way to collect unpaid or underpaid postage fees from recipients of mail. Yes, that's right. In the past, if you sent a letter without the correct postage, the person receiving it had to pay the difference, and these postage due stamps were affixed by the Postal Service to indicate how much was owed. Now, what sets the $1 denomination apart is its relatively high value. Unlike the 1-cent or 2-cent postage due stamps that were commonly used for everyday mail, the $1 version was typically used for larger packages, bulk shipments, or international mail where the postage owed was significant. Because of this, far fewer $1 postage due stamps were used in everyday circulation, making them scarcer today. This scarcity is one of the reasons why collectors prize this stamp, especially when found in excellent condition, with strong color, intact perforations, and no damage or heavy cancellations. Mint versions that were never used and still have original gum on the back are particularly valuable and sought after in the philatelic market. So, what is the current market value of the $1 postage due stamp in today's world of stamp collecting? As of 2024 and moving into 2025, the value of this stamp can vary widely depending on condition, rarity, and whether it's mint or used. A used example in fair to good condition typically sells for around $5 to $12 on popular stamp marketplaces. However, a mint condition stamp with original gum, vibrant red color, and perfectly centered design can easily command anywhere from $25 to $100 or more. In cases where the stamp is part of a complete set of postage due stamps or includes a rare plate number or printing variety, prices can rise even further, sometimes reaching $150 or higher in auction settings. It's also worth noting that expert certifications can increase the value of a well-preserved stamp, especially if authenticity is a concern for rare editions or variants. But beyond the dollar value, what makes the stamp truly special is its historical significance. These postage due stamps are reminders of a time when the Postal Service was both a civic institution and a revenue-generating arm of the government. They tell a story of how people communicated, how errors in postage were handled, and how important the postal infrastructure was to everyday life. The design itself reflects a bygone era of American printing and engraving, where each stamp was carefully crafted with attention to detail, line, and form.
Collectors don't just seek this stamp because it's old or rare, they seek it because it captures a piece of postal history that has vanished from the modern world. For those of you who may have this stamp in your collection, now is the perfect time to evaluate its condition and possibly get it appraised by a reputable dealer. If it's part of a larger album passed down from a family member or inherited from an older generation, take a closer look. You may be holding a valuable piece of history. On the other hand, if you're a new collector looking to purchase one, make sure you buy from trusted sellers and inspect photos carefully. Look for sharp corners, original color, and avoid stamps with tears, creases, or heavy postmarks unless you're buying at a discount. Proper storage is also key. Keep your stamp in a dry, acid-free environment away from direct sunlight to preserve its value for years to come. As always, the true value of a stamp is not just in how much money it's worth, but in what it represents. The $1 postage due stamp is a symbol of a time when every letter, every package, and every penny of postage counted. It is a tangible piece of American history that reminds us of how far communication has come and how much we've lost in the age of instant digital messaging. For collectors and enthusiasts, stamps like these are more than collectibles. They're artifacts of the human experience, preserved in color and paper.